Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name's Kat and I make friendship bracelet tutorials for beginners. So if you're interested in learning how to make friendship bracelet, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified every time I post. Today I'm going to be showing you how to follow alpha patterns. These are used for lettering in bracelets, and they can also be used for doing a lot of different cool patterns with images. And you can find these patterns just by Googling friendship bracelet alpha pattern or alphabet patterns, and some patterns should come up of the full alphabet, so you can just choose what letters you want and write out whatever word you want. Or if you're a little more advanced, you could go for the images, but it does get a little more complicated when you involve more than just the two colors, the background color and the image color. And this video is a request from Melissa. So Melissa, this is for you, and thank you for engaging in the community tab. I love when people comment and engage. It really feels like I'm not just talking into a void. It feels like more of a community. And if you guys ever have requests, don't hesitate to let me know. I will make a video for you. I'll give you a shout out. Also, if throughout the video you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I will get back to you. Usually I get back to you within 24 hours because I get notified on my phone when someone comments, and so usually just answer real quick. We're gonna get started with the tutorial. I'm gonna try to keep it as quick, clear, and concise as possible. You guys know how I do, so let's get started. So what makes the alpha pattern different from the regular friendship bracelet patterns is it's a grid rather than an every other grid that most friendship bracelet patterns follow. So you're going to have this background color, and that's actually just going to be one string that's going across with forward knots this way, and then back with backward knots, then forward knots, backward knots. So that string is just traveling all the way across, and then each time you see a box that's colored in, that's going to be part of our letter. This is an A. Each time you come across, so you're doing your backward knots this way, and then you get to the black box, you're going to take the black string and do a forward knot. Then your white string is going to travel. You're going to do another forward knot with that black, and so on. Forward knot, until your white is all the way here, and then you do another backward knot. So because this white string is traveling so much, we're going to need it to be very long, much longer than the black strings. So just to be safe, okay, well, I'm not going to be doing a whole bracelet. I'm just doing this one letter to show you guys. But if I were to make a bracelet, I would use this whole spool that they gave me. And for the black lettering, I would say about 1.5 feet should be good. So you're going to need a black string for each of these rows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, I think they're called columns, not rows. I get confused. But we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black strings, not super long. I'm probably only going to do less than 1 foot because I'm not doing a whole bracelet. And then with the white, I'm going to do just one, but a very long one. So I'm going to get my strings cut right now, and I'll get back to you in a second. Alright, so I have my 8 black strings. I didn't cut them super long. It's about 1.5 feet for me. But for you guys, I'm going to say 2 feet would be good for a full bracelet. And then, of course, I have my white, and it's pretty long. It's probably like 3 feet. For a full bracelet, I would recommend using the whole spool they give you. Then I'm going to put my strings together, and I'm going to tie them together with an overhand knot leaving at least 3 inches excess so that you have enough length to tie the bracelet on your wrist. So tie those all together. So I have 9 strings. So it should be 1 more string than the amount of columns in your pattern. Okay. So we're gonna start out with our white, and the first row is just white, so we're gonna be doing forward knots all the way across. Now, if you are a beginner and you're like, what is a forward knot? Hold on, I'm confused. I do have a video on the 4 basic knots used for friendship bracelets. If you want to take a look at that, I will explain it real quick if you don't feel like watching another video. So, this is a forward knot. So you grab your string that you want your knot to be that color. And you grab the next string, and you're going to hold the next string taut like this so it's straight. Then with your white string, you're going to create a little triangle, and it should form the number 4 like that, with this being over the second string. And then you're going to grab that white string and tuck it underneath so that it's in the middle of that triangle we made. You're going to pull it through, and then you're going to pull it up. And then you're going to do that same thing again. Make a 4 over the black string, tuck it underneath into that triangle, pull it through, and pull it up. Every time you do a knot, you're going to always tie it twice to complete the knot. So that's a forward knot. And we're just going to go down the line and do that on every string until our white is at the end of the line. And I say this in every video, but the first few rows of your bracelet are always going to look jumbled up, and you might think you're doing something wrong, but that's just how it is. It takes a few rows of doing the bracelet for your strings to organize and for your knots to flatten out into a nice line. So don't freak out if it doesn't look right. Just keep going, and a few rows in, you'll be able to see whether or not you're doing the right, whether or not you're doing it right. So I got 2 black strings left. I'm almost at the end. And if you're confused about this forward knot thing, I'll link my 4 basic knot video in the description. Okay, so that was our first row of forward knots. Now we're going to take this white and we're going to go back across, and every time we meet a black square on the pattern, we're going to take that black and do a forward knot. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 backward knots to do with this white. So 1 and a backward knot, if you don't know, it's just the reverse of the forward knot. So instead of making a 4, you're going to be making a backwards 4. Other than that, it's just the same thing. And just make sure you're knotting it on the correct string in the correct order. This gets easier once you're a few rows in, but in the beginning you gotta make sure you're knotting on the correct string. So this is our 3rd white knot, so we're right here. So 1 more backward knot. Okay, and now we are here. So instead of doing another backward knot on this black, we are going to take the black and we're going to do a forward knot, the opposite of what this row was before. We're going to do a forward knot on this white. So we're going to make a 4, 1, 2. And now your white string should end up to the left of that. And we're going to do a total of 4 black knots like we just did. So that was the first one. Now for the second one. The white travels over to this one, and we do a forward knot on that white. So even though we're not making white knots, this white string is still traveling along the line. Our third forward knot using the black string, and our final forward knot using the black string. Okay, now we're right here, and we're gonna do a backward knot. And that will finish off that row. 1, 2. By the way, I would recommend doing a few rows of just back and forth white before you start your letters, because you want your word to be like right here, and you're not going to want your tie to be in front. Okay, so we're on our third row. We just went this way with the white, so now we're going to be going that way, so it's going to be forward knots. So our first knot is going to be a forward knot with the white. 1, 2. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black squares on our pattern. So instead of doing a forward knot on this black, we're going to use the black to do a backward knot on this white. So backwards 4, string goes in, pull it up, and 1. Oh, sorry guys. Okay. 2, that's 1 backwards knot, 1, 2, and sometimes it helps to pull your bass string a little bit this way where it's going, if that makes sense. Sometimes if you hold it down and then just try to pull your string up, your knot will be like loose and not where it's supposed to be. So to help that, you're just gonna pull your bass string more this way instead of down. Okay, so another backward knot. 1, 2, and let's see, I have 3 strings left, which means I'm on this one. So this will be my final backwards knot. 1, 2. Okay, so now I'm on this row right here, and I have 2 white squares left. So with this white string, we're gonna do a forward knot on this string and then on this string. So 1, 2, 1, and 2. And my bracelet is starting to curl a little bit, so I'm just gonna like press on it and spread it out. Now we are on to the 4th row. So we're going to be going this way now. So we're going to start with 1, 2 backward knots. Since we're traveling this way, traveling left, we're going to do backward knots. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we just have 1 black square. So with our next black string, we're going to do a forward knot on this white string. So it's always just the opposite knot of whatever your white string is doing that row. Now we have 2 white squares, so we are going to do 2 backward knots. So our white can continue traveling left. Okay, we did that. Now we're on to a black square. So of course we're going to do a forward knot with this black onto the white. 1, 2, and then we're going to end this row with 2 backward knots with this white. So there's 1 backward knot. Remember, we always tie twice for every 1 knot. And 2. Alright, and our A is starting to come together. We have half of it so far. Now we're going to do this row. We just went like that, and now this white is going to go in that direction. So we're going to be doing forward knots. So we're going to start out with 2 forward knots. One. And 2. And then we get to this black square, so we're going to do a backward knot with this black onto the white. And it really helps to pull the white horizontally rather than down. That just helps keep the knot like in its row and not dragged down. So now we're here, we're going to do 2 forward knots with the white. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and then 1 backward knot with this next black. And then to finish off the row, we're going to do 2 more forward knots with the white. Couple more rows and we are going to be done our letter. Okay, so now we're on this row. We are going to start off with 2 white squares, and now we're going in this direction. This way. So we're going to do 2 backwards knots with this white. You are probably catching on to the pattern by now, but I'm still going to explain it every time, just in case anyone's confused. This is a beginner channel. Okay. Now as we keep going across, every black one we meet for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strings is going to be a forward knot with the black onto the white. So, forward knot, and as I'm tightening it, I'm pulling my white to the left, because that's where I want it to go. Forward knot, forward knot. Oh gosh. Okay, another forward. And one last forward all the the way till we only have one string left. And then we're going to do a backward knot with this white to end off the row. Okay. Oops. So let me just put an index card behind this so it's easier to see. So the letter is coming together. We got one more row of the actual letter, and then we're just going to do a row of white to finish it off. So where'd my pen go? Alright, I dropped my pen, but this row we're going to be going this way. So we're going to be doing forward knots. So we're going to start off with one forward knot on this first black string. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 backward knots. One, two. Next string, another backward knot. I probably should not have used black string. Sorry if it's a little hard to see in front of my dark table. Lesson learned. Next time I won't do that. Okay. Another backward knot. And let me see, I have 3 strings left, and I should have 3, okay. So now I'm gonna do my white, I'm gonna do my 3 white knots all forward. 1, 2, 1, 2, and last string. 1, 2. So that completes the letter. I'm just going to do one more row going this way, all backward knots to finish it off. And then I will be done. I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, any confusions, leave it down in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I'm pretty good with responding to comments. 1, 2. If you have any requests for patterns you'd like me to explain, leave that in the comments as well. And I'll make a video for you and I'll give you a shout out. And of course, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like the video. It's a very easy and free way to support the channel. Alright, so there's our A. And this was like a kind of a cool font alphabet pattern I use. That's why it's like thick. So it kind of looks a little weird just by itself, but if it was a full word, then it would look better and you would get it. Alright, that's all I have for you guys. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.